טוב, אז שלום לכולם ואנחנו בעוד סרטון חדש, והפעם במשחק Stanley Parable אולטרה דלקס. זה משחק מאוד מוזר, כמו שאתם עכשיו שומעים ברקע. זה לא רעש רקע מהבית שלי או משהו כזה, זה מהמשחק. אני לא יודע מה מצפה לי בו. באמת אני יודע אבל שזה משחק טוב. אז בואו נתחיל, יאללה. begin.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
אני מקווה ששומעים טוב, אם לא שומעים מספיק טוב
Stanley
את
worked for a
הכל,
company in a big
יש
building
כתוביות.
where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
באמת?
And then one day,
Wow.
something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
רגע, אוקיי. טוב, אז חזרתי. יאללה, בואו נמשיך. כרגע זה מטורף.
All of his co-workers were gone.
וואו.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
רגע,
he had
רגע.
simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little... Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement?
רגע, יש משהו חשוב מאוד שאני זוכר. כן, ללחוץ על דלת 430, ללחוץ עליה 5
Is that
פעמים.
all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
אני לא יודע, בואו נעשה את זה. זה ההתחלה של הסרטון, זה מה שאני עושה.
Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
זה ההתחלה של המשחק, כן? רוצים שאני אלחץ על דלת 50 פעמים. כאילו זה אצ'יבמנט, זה משהו סודי. אני איכשהו זכרתי את זה. זה לא היחיד שאני יודע, באמת. כמה... בעצם, במשחק הזה, סתום את הפה, הקריין הוא... מישהו מעצבן. אוקיי, 417, אוקיי. למה אני עושה את זה? אני לא יודע, 417. 417.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
437.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
כרגע אפילו לא התחלנו, ואני כבר רוצה להרוג את הקריין. איזה רשע.
One eternity later.
זה כאן, זוכר.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 clicks on door 430. Yes! We
קיבלתי
did
את
it!
האצ'יגמנט.
Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
בואו נמשיך במשחק.
When
כן.
Stanley came to a
Okay.
set of 2 open doors, He entered the door on his left.
רגע. ימין זה שמאל, זה שמאל. לא, אז ימין זה... לא.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
אני עשיתי את זה נכון?
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire
אני עשיתי את זה נכון? אוף.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had
רגע.
really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
לא, לא רוצה לעמוד.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
אני לא יכול לא להקשיב לו? לא. לא.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
Oh.
it's incredible he wasn't fired years
או,
ago.
תודה רבה. או, תודה רבה. סוף סוף אני לא עושה מה שהוא רוצה ממני. לא לעשות את מה שהוא רוצה ממך, זה מה שהופך את
Look,
המשחק
Stanley,
הזה
I think
לטוב.
perhaps we've got
יש גם
ourselves a
כמה
little
סופים
bit.
למשחק הזה, אני אצלם את כל הסופים, אני אנסה.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
ביי.
Really? I
יש.
was in the middle of something
Yes.
with zero consideration for others. Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Oh.
Give me a chance.
הנה, אני יותר
Now
לך
listen
צ'אנס.
carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
מה? מה?
Oh, thank God you
Oh.
are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices.
אני לא יודע אם
The
זה
two of us
נכון.
always trying to
אני
get
לא...
somewhere that isn't
וואו.
here. Running and running
איזה
and running,
משחק.
just the way you're doing
אוקיי.
right now.
אני
Don't
צריך
you
לדבר,
see
אני
what's
שוכח את זה,
happening,
פשוט...
Stanley?
אני פשוט כל כך...
I wanted to
המשחק הזה כל
stop.
כך מעניין אותי.
We would both
What?
be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think, well, I think I have a
למה אני
solution.
חושב שזה במעגלים?
Let me show you.
היי. היי. לא. 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 אני לא רוצה. לא.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
מה? מה קורה כאן?
Here.
מה?
Yes.
מה?
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
כמה
If we
סופים?
just stay right here,
מה?
right in
לא
this
רוצה.
moment with this place, Stanley,
יודע מה?
I think I feel happy.
בואו נשאר כאן.
I actually feel happy.
לא, זהו. נשארים כאן. כל המשחק.
One eternity later.
טוב, יאללה. אני חושב נעוף מכאן. כי ראיתי שיש עכשיו אצ'יגמנט.
No, wait.
שאני אעשה אותו כנראה. שהוא אחד הסופים כנראה, שזה לסיים את המשחק כמה שיותר
Stay
מהר.
away from those stairs.
רגע.
If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
סורי. אני רוצה להקשיב לך אבל.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
מה?
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
לא! אני צריך לרסטרט? מה? הרגע התחלתי. טוב. ביי.
No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me
לא,
worried there for
לא,
a
לא,
moment.
לא, אני צריך להרוג את עצמי.
No, no, what are you doing?
מה
Stanley?
לעשות זה קורה כאן?
Please, my God. Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over? to
אני
be rid of it?
מצטער, אני
You were
מצטער.
literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
עברו 10 דקות ואני צריך להרוג את עצמי באמת. אני...
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along.
לא, אני גם.
I guess that was too much
אני
to
גם
ask.
רוצה שנהיה חברים.
It
לא.
looks like you wanted to make a choice after all.
אז אני צריך באמת לעשות את ההחלטות בעצמי. אני לא מאמין. הקטע הזה לא יקשיב לו.
Is it over?
יאללה.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
אשכרה. זהו? באמת?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
מה?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
אוקיי, עכשיו אני רוצה להיכנס בדור הנכונה שהוא אמר לי. כי אני חושב שאם אתה עושה דברים נכון, אתה
Yet there was
מפסיד.
not a single person here either.
רגע.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
אני לא יכול לעשות כלום ליטרלי, אבל... בואו נמשיך. רגע, אוקיי.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
יודע מה? לא. אני נשאר כאן. לא. אני נשאר כאן. מה תעשה?
There was nothing here.
לא,
Just to make
אני נשאר
just
כאן.
an empty broom closet.
אני נשאר כאן.
Nobody here.
אני נשאר כאן. וואו, איזה רעש
But
מציג.
Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least there was something to interact with. He justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet cafe.
אני חייב. זה מה שממשיך?
Are you really sitting in the broom closet? Sitting around doing
אמרו 5 דקות למשחק.
nothing? Some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
יש לי משחק 24 שעות, זה אנשים מצוות 24 שעות. המשחק הזה, כמה זמן? הייתי כל 5 דקות ראשונות.
Stanley walked past the broom closet and had a reason for exploring it to find out. It didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
I'm
I
sure.
never thought to mention it.
אני אמשיך להיות כאן. אתה לא... סורי.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this.
וואו. אוקיי, וואו, אוקיי, זה טוב ממש.
Stanley was found out being really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That old drug money.
What?
Stanley's addicted to drugs and hookers.
מה? אוקיי. אז אתה...
Happens to be nearby. The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey.
טוב, נמאס לי, די.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
אפסטרס,
office.
אוקיי, אז לא ללכת אפסטרס. או.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. At last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself. Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all,
3 הפסדים בסרטון אחד, אני מנחש שיהיה.
this was not a dream.
כבר הפסדתי.
He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
יאללה, עכשיו אני הורג את
So
עצמי
he
נראה לי.
closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself
כן,
to wake up.
יאללה, זהו, אני הורג את
He
עצמי.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream.
מתתי
I
פעמיים.
wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment. and my wife
היה לו
and
איש.
my job. All
מה?
I want is my life exactly the way it's always
לא.
been.
אני חושב שאני צריך
My
להרוג את
life
עצמי,
is
אבל אני לא
mine.
רוצה לעשות את זה.
I
אני לא
am
רוצה לעשות
mine.
את זה. Everything will be
Everything will be
fine.
fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please! Someone wake me up! My name is Stanley! I have a boss, I have an office, I am real! Please, just someone tell me I am real! I must be real! I must be! Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
אוקיי. מתתי, נכון?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
אוקיי,
Although
מתתי,
she would
בסדר.
soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind.
הפסדתי, כן?
I know what
אני
is
פשוט...
real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
עברה רבע שעה, והפסדתי פעמיים כבר.
Staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
אוקיי, אז הסרטון יצא כאן בגלל ששאר הסופים יצאו הרבה יותר ארוכים, והסרטון יצא באורך של 50 דקות, אז אני לא יכול באמת להעלות את זה, אז בעצם זאת תהיה סדרה עם הרבה פרקים, זה מה שאני מכוון אליו. אז בעצם זה הפרק הראשון בסדרה. הפרק הבא אני לא יודע מתי הוא יעלה. משהו כנראה שבועיים של פחות אולי מהפרק הזה. בכל מקרה אני מקווה שנהייתם לראות את הסרטון. ונתראה פעם הבאה. יאללה ביי.